Okay. Well, hi. Welcome to Gar Black Games. We're playing Delta Green tonight. Hoping to butter some bread or whatever was been just said.
I
But
didn't
we're
say anything.
continuing. We're continuing our playthrough of Viscid. We're down in Aaron tonight, which means there likely will be murder on the stream of a character because that's what happened last time. And whenever Aaron's not around, whenever Agent Stone isn't here, something terrible will happen. Um, but we're doing a slight change of scenery as well as events in Seattle and Mill Creek have grown very chaotic, and it's time to move to a different location. But before we get into our summary, let's go ahead and introduce the characters. Matt, you are up first. Tell us about Mr. Brown and how Mr. Brown's feeling right now after the events outside the Swedish
Oh.
Medical Center.
Okay, well, Mr. Brown, it was revealed last week that he is a CIA operative. Nope, you don't know what branch of the CIA, but he is CIA. He did have to try. He did reveal that to try and get Dr. Rowley free. It didn't work, and things snowballed from there. And Mr. Brown's got his work cut out for him when it comes to cleaning up the mess that is now this assignment.
Mess is underselling it at this
Yeah,
point.
mess is
I think.
underselling this clusterfuck
You know,
that is now this assignment.
it's I feel like just carve off the state of Washington and let it like float off into the Pacific, and that's how you clean things up. Really, it's pretty much where we're at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Megan's got a new character tonight because sadly, the rest of the group ruthlessly murdered her last
Hey,
character.
I wasn't there.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about we've seen your new character on screen before, but we haven't really interacted with her. So you want to tell us a little bit about
Is it
her?
Tracy from Qdoba?
Oh, that'd be great. Missed opportunity, Megan.
Totally missed opportunity. No, I'm Roberta Kane. So she's she also works in the CDC emergency response department. She was in charge of the whole bit that was the original incident. However, due to the crash in Montana, she was called to go there. So, yep.
That's exactly right. We saw her very briefly in the episode 1. I think Raleigh was the only one who interacted with her. You arrived at the scene. She gave you like a quick brief and a bunch of stuff and said, "Take good care of the site," and left.
Oh,
Yeah, we did. All right. See who's next. So we will meet Dr. Kane at some point tonight, as soon as possible. Next up, we've got Agent Ryder, who had a date at Applebee's, did a little research, and was not there for the murder of Dr. Raleigh. So what's going through Ryder's mind these days?
I think Agent Ryder is hopeful. I think he's thinking of second dates on the horizon. He's a little preoccupied with that, even though they talked about Raleigh being gone. I think a little bit of his mind is over there. He's not that sad because Dr. Raleigh really was just, a thorn in his side. So he's just kind of a little bit relieved that he didn't have to do it and they did, like he wasn't a part of it. He didn't have to witness anything, but it happened. And I think he's just ready to, even though it's been like 2 days and it feels like it's been like 4 months, I think he's hopeful that we can wrap up the investigation.
Yeah. Hands are clean on that one, right? Like on a couple things too, like between
Yeah,
the killing
he's the cleanest person here for sure.
I think that's a fair assessment for sure. It was
For
between
now.
you and Stone, and then Stone put
Yeah.
a bullet in the back of
Stone
Lucy
shot
Raleigh's
someone,
head.
and he shot a cop's leg. So
Yeah.
Stone kind of went off the rails.
Yes, he did, and now he's got the night off. So finally, we've got poor Agent Dart, who was with Lucy Raleigh at. I mean, just when things just when the roller coaster just went flying off the rails in that Starbucks. Tell us about Rex Dart and what's going through his mind, Jeremy.
I mean, personal integrity is one of his motivations. Like, Rex is legitimately a really good person, and this has just been the worst mission possible. He wanted to help Dr. Raleigh. He wanted to hope that things would work out. And that good faith just just hooked him into utter chaos. And yeah, I think at this point he just wants for this mission to end one way or the other in the next couple of days, and maybe it'll be the last one. So I just want to do like these 2 days from retirement and just doom himself with that.
How old is Rex again? He's in his 40s, right?
He's in his early 40s at this point, because Tales from the Loop was what, 92, I think?
It was 92, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is
2016. Yeah, he's in his early 40s then.
Okay. Well, let's get going. We are going to kind of montage a little bit, probably to start we'll be able to backfill if there's things you want to do, but all of you decided at the end of the last session to leave and go to Montana to start investigating around that CDC plane crash. But before that, let's just dive into a summary. Wednesday, October 5th is when we're kind of start up today. It's 2016, 3 days into Operation Malta and the death of Dr. Tybalt Greaves. Many things have happened in these 3 days. 2 agents have died, Rutledge to an unnatural creature that was hiding out in a trailer near Greaves' home, and Dr. Raleigh to a bullet from Agent Stone after she once again endangered the operation and revealed Delta Green secrets to her husband while on the phone in the middle of a Starbucks. Fallout of the investigation is continuing to expand. First, it was the murder of the Snohomish County medical examiner Louis Stubbs. Then there was the daytime destruction of a home near the Greaves neighborhood. Then there was the release of a fake, what we're now calling the NWA, the Northwestern Alliance domestic terrorist video, claiming credit for most of this chaos. And most recently, there was the shooting of an SPD officer outside the Swedish Medical Center in downtown Seattle. There's evidence and stuff that you've collected. Some loose ends remain. Lots of lack of explanation of things. You got the human fingers and fingernails and the crows. You have Greaves's unexpected wealth, which Ryder was able to kind of dig up. You're unsure of like what his intentions with the lab were to begin with, what his connection might be to this DC law firm and this defense company, Ansile Inc., that you pulled up in some of the records that you were looking into. Don't really know a whole lot about Greaves either. You weren't ever really able to get into the medical examiner's cold storage to ever look at Greaves or Griffin's body. And you also don't necessarily know what, if anything, a private investigator named Evelyn Wells, who's a recent victim of a shooting at a Qdoba in Kirkland, Washington. You're not really sure what that has to do with any of it. But the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, showed up at the arrival of this domestic terrorist video, and that has kind of caused some major issues. Not only that, but the cops of the SPD are more than likely going to be on something of a manhunt for a while, looking for whoever it was shot one of theirs outside of a hospital. So all of you decide to leave. So what we're going to do, it's about a 9-hour drive, 8 to 9 hour drive to kind of get over to where you're heading eventually to Lola, Montana, which is near the Clearwater National Forests where the crash site is. It's also near Missoula as well. It's a long drive, but you all still need to sleep at some point because there is a sleeplessness penalty. So, we don't have to play this all out, but we can say sometime over the drive, probably when you get out of Washington, or maybe at some point along the road, you find a place to stay, just some roadside motel or whatever, and you get some rest so you don't have to get your penalties for the day. But I'll just give you an opportunity before we kind of dive into proper role play, like would any of you have been doing anything during the drive? Would you have done anything during the time you might have spent crashing in like some cheap motel, anything like that?
I think you need to lose my lethal weapon mullet and maybe like bleach the hair a little.
Okay. You
If
want to try
Brown's
another
willing to help you
disguise
with
roll?
that. Because the cop got a good look at my face.
He did indeed. Right at you. Okay. So Brown, you want to do another disguise check for Rex as you leave the state of Washington? That's a shame.
Mark that one down for an upgrade later.
It's pretty close. Pretty close, but not close enough.
All
Okay.
the ones we're good at.
You definitely get the haircut. No problem. And you look better. I mean, like, you look less obvious, but it's not. I mean, you have a very distinctive face. Yeah.
Is it too bleached? Is it Eminem now?
It's Eminem now. Oh gosh. I think you guys are smart enough to realize that it'll do in a pinch, but if anyone looks too closely, they'll probably be able to tell. It's just a question of
Yeah.
how hard they look and how much they've seen of the sketch that's circulating in the Seattle area of you.
Multiple sketches now.
Multiple sketches probably, and probably some CCTV footage at some point near Starbucks or the hospital. Anything else that anyone would have wanted to try to accomplish, little tasks or things like that during the drive or during the stay?
Monitor the news, see what's coming out, just kind of keep on top of everything that has being reported from our our encounter at the hospital.
So we'll say that you guys left the Seattle area fairly late, closing in on midnight probably, and we'll say maybe halfway to your destination you find some, a Kano Lodge or whatever on the side of the road in Idaho or something, and you crash, get a couple rooms, and you just crash. And Brown, you check the news, get on your cell, kind of look around, see what you might find, actually seeing if you can get some local news as well from Washington. So you find a few things are seeming to pop up. First of all, the victim of that Qdoba shooting is apparently has gone through successful surgery, but has been placed in a medically induced coma, but is still alive. You hear like a lot of info about DHS and FBI investigators are apparently looking into a domestic terrorist group called the Northwest Alliance. But apparently there are some conflicting reports when it comes to this issue, as there's one video that seems to be claiming credit for all sorts of stuff that's been occurring within Washington. But then there's another that's shot near Lake Stanton, which is kind of known to be a hangout for some of the Northwest Alliance, and they're claiming that the first video is a fraud. So there's like these competing
Who believes
videos.
Terrorists? Come on now.
Let's see. What else might you have discovered?
Anything about a shooting of a police officer at a hospital? Are they
Oh.
alive or dead?
Very much so. Officer shooting outside the Swedish Medical Center in Seattle involving apparently a man who is also wanted for questioning in the death of Snohomish medical examiner Louis Stubbs. They've already made that connection. And there's apparently two other men. The identities have not been released, claiming to be military and federal agents that might have been involved. Apparently, the news suggests that the cops were assaulted while taking somebody into custody, somebody else who was actually involved in the Snohomish medical examiner's death. They were taking a Dr. Lucy Raleigh into custody when they were attacked and assaulted, and they stole Raleigh out of their custody. There's no information about whether he's dead. There's no information about whether he's alive, but he was in major surgery, and he's still in surgery, and the best case scenario is that he's likely going to lose his leg and live, but there's still a chance he might not make it. Let's see. And then the last thing you get,
And then
Good Morning Washington or some other Morning Washington TV outfit, because at this point it's probably mid-morning when you guys are getting ready to leave. You hear a report about how traffic came to a standstill this morning during rush hour traffic in Seattle as the body of a woman was found alongside a canal reserve near State Road 520. The body has not yet been identified, but sources say that she was the apparent victim of a gun shooting. That is a developing story.
Breaking news.
Yeah, it sounds. What a
Indeed.
tragedy.
You guys are awful.
What a tragedy.
All right. And again, if there's any little odds and ends you want to do, little tasks, there's time to do it.
Yeah, I think Ryder is going to try to see if he can research to make the connection between Greaves and like his experimenting and like a Titanic weave and like how that, because it did almost like when you said the fingernail armor stuff, like he's trying to see if there's like some sort of like genetic testing that's trying to create some sort of, I don't know. He's just trying to see if he can put two and two together based off like what he's been digging into.
So are you digging into Greaves then? You
Yeah, I
did a
guess.
little research into Ansal Inc., but I mean, they're a known company. So you can dig a little into that, but you can also dig into Greaves's background too if you wanted to.
Yeah, I guess
try
probably
that.
more Greaves and see if I can try and tie in what I know with Ansile.
Okay. I think this is actually going to take a roll because we'll say this. Like, first of all, you start digging in, and it's not just Google searching and social media searching. Like you do more than that, obviously. So between you and maybe some of your connections, you start digging a little bit further into his background, and you get into like the IRS, government documents, things like that. You get some basic bio. It's from New York, 1958 or something like that. Not a whole lot of info that's clear. It seems he earned doctorates in molecular biology, genetics, and biochemistry at Northwestern in his mid-20s. And he was apparently recruited out of a teaching and research position at Northwestern's genetics program in 1985 by DARPA, which is the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. The basic details that you're able to find, this is simple, basic details about his DARPA days. He apparently worked there from 1985 to 2001 at a place called Mount Weather, Virginia. And you would know that this is a federally well-known continuity of government site. And there's like FEMA facilities and research laboratories there. You see that he resigned from DARPA sometime around 2001, and that's when he moved to Seattle. He apparently filed a patent for an anti-ABD, which is a cheap blood typing process. I think I mentioned that before.
Yeah.
But that's all you get. There's this giant black hole from 1985 to 2001 when he was working at DARPA and what he actually did in there that is not accessible from your standard like hacks and your standard research.
And is that something he can dig deeper into DARPA and try to figure out, or
Right, you can, but the question is how you would go about doing it. It's not so much a role as it is what is your tactic for doing so. Yeah.
So I mean, if he was into genetics, I think that's all the more reason to run those prints.
Yeah,
maybe some genetics are being they've reprinted themselves somewhere.
Yeah, we just aren't. Our doctor's dead.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
We tried to get Dr. Raleigh to do that.
I mean, we could probably submit fingerprints without her.
But to who?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like, Dart's just throwing that out there to probably to Mr. Brown, who he assumes can coordinate it, but doesn't know.
No, Mr. Brown is nobody. Nobody right now. It is way too hot. We have got way too much attention on ourselves. We're not submitting those fingerprints to anyone. They remain in our custody for now. Do not talk
you guys are
about the corporation or anything about this operation in public. I if that wasn't clear already, I'm making it clear now.
No, that's clear.
Maybe
that contributed to Dr. Raleigh's current state.
I'm aware. I'm sorry I was not more capable to... I don't know who would be capable of handling it.
Probably the dirt where you guys shot her at. It's probably a good place.
It's just
real capable,
She probably would have been fine, just not in the field. Anyways, that's not good.
She's probably a good doctor, but just not like a agent,
God. Okay. So do we know we know of at least a relatively recent attack near the site. We can get a rough vector of the direction we think the thing may be heading. At the very least, we can do that.
We should probably see if there's any residential areas, farms, because it seems like the people are the ones that are getting sucked up and stuff,
I mean, it did absorb some smaller animals. at
Yeah,
the
but we
initial
didn't see like like the animals on the bodies of the creature. It just like
Mhm.
disappeared. But we were seeing like limbs of people, heads and stuff.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Maybe it's going. We don't really know how it travels or why it travels.
I mean, so maybe, okay, so hypothetically, maybe that means that it does have some sort of like core, like a sense of self. I know that sounds slightly silly, but it's taking the meat and reforming it into something familiar.
Right? It could just be purely primal.
Yeah. But like it took dog meat and made human-ish appendages.
We assume, unless it was another person.
True, but I mean, we did verify, like, before things went absolutely nuts. Yeah, it had.
Did you verify it was dead?
The dog, yeah. Like I found like bits of it, like a piece of hair that had sloughed off, like some skin, and yeah, that dog's super dead.
Mm-hmm. So should we, maybe establish some ground rules? Now we're heading to a new state, new playing field. New us, who dis. Like maybe we should not cause a big scene, shoot a bunch of people. I don't know. Seems like you guys are pretty willy nilly with your guns out in public.
No, I haven't fired my gun in public once.
I don't have a gun.
So he just looks at Stone.
Stone is literally cleaning his guns.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make some ground rules for Stone or something.
No, I think Stone knows what he's doing. I think most of us are just playing pickup as best we can from a hell of a situation.
We need to stop telling everybody who we are, showing our actual IDs, and giving that information out. Everything can be tied back to us at this point. We're not operating for our given organizations right now. We're
I'm aware
operating
the
for
only
an
name
organization that doesn't exist.
the only name I've given, I haven't given any name actually.
You're what?
I just
Rogowski? What's your name?
Kowalski.
Kowalski was
Kowalski
from
was the
Raleigh.
only name. Yeah, I don't think
So-
you gave it. I think it was given to you. Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Raleigh called me Kowalski, and that's all I've gone by so far.
I mean, I got no heat on me. I haven't done anything.
But yeah, no, there's no disagreement. We're on the same page.
Well, look, if we take care of whatever the hell that thing is when that plane crashed, then, I mean, honestly, I'm not sure much more we can do.
Yeah.
We got all this information. I dug deep and I can dig a little deeper, but I mean, that seems above our pay grade, honestly.
So, Mr. Brown, you are a member of the Central Intelligence Agency, as we have learned. I know you haven't revealed like specifically what your focus is there, but you're probably the one who would most likely be able to get a contact in DARPA, because ultimately that's really what you're going to need to dig into any more info about Tabal Crease, because it's just a black hole. So if that's something you wanted to do, I think Mr. Brown is probably the only one in the group who would be equipped to do so. But it would require you kind of reaching out, figuring out who a contact might be, and then kind of making some kind of roll to see if you can convince them to give you info. It's just a question of whether Mr. Brown wants to kind of pursue that lead.
I'll do it. I will.
Time.
I'll make some calls and hopefully call in a favor.
Okay. What's the name of a DARPA contact that owes you a favor?
Lucy Raleigh. No, oh, shit.
What?
No.
Too late.
No.
You guys didn't know that.
It is.
I'm gonna say it's a guy named Martin Frobisher.
Old Marty Frobisher. Hey, Marty. It's Brown. I need a favor.
Why is it every time you call me, you need favors, Brown? You know this. You know streets are supposed to go two ways, right?
Hey, you've just never needed my services. I'm always willing to help you.
Some of us are maybe just a little better at our jobs than others, huh?
Yee.
No, nothing. No response.
Anyway, what is it now? What do you need now?
I need information on a Tybalt Greaves from Kirkland. Was it Kirkland, Washington? Is that correct?
Mill Creek.
From
Close
Mill
enough.
Creek,
Yeah, Mill
Washington.
Creek.
Is there? Can you look up some information for me on him and maybe help me out?
Am I your secretary here? You know, it's 2016, man. Can't do this yourself.
No, I.
Why am I doing a background check on you? What is this guy into?
I can't say. But it
Well,
is
you're gonna have to give me a direction
Listen.
here.
It's a matter of national security. That's all I can tell you at this point. It'll come out. I can't tell you anymore. You know I'd tell you. We go way back. But I can't. I can't get into it right now. I shouldn't even be making this call, but I need your help.
Just want to make sure you were. Was that your first call or the second?
Marty, of course you are my first call.
Okay. All right. I'll dig into it a little bit. We'll see. But you owe me. Again.
I owe you again. I owe you big time. Listen, when this is blown over, how about you and me? We meet up. We'll blow off some steam.
Blow off some steam. Okay. Yeah, okay, maybe. We'll see. All right, Mr. Brown. I will get you'll hear from me.
Thanks
He
again.
kind of chuckles
Martin.
as he like very sarcastically says your last
Yeah,
name
yeah,
because
I
he
know.
knows that's not who you are. And yeah, you guys get off your call. Okay. All right. Roll bureaucracy. Let's see how.
Oh my god, don't fail this.
See how.
Ooh.
Oh, I got an damn 80% in this. I don't know why I rolled twice, but they're both good.
No, it's all good. Just more of along the lines of how much does he like you, and how much is he willing to put his neck out for you?
Oh,
Okay.
Take that 64. Isn't higher better? Right?
If it's contested, yeah. If it's contested.
Oh.
Okay. So by the time you guys, get your motel, get your rest, do a handful of odds and ends. You can't do a ton, but you can do handfuls of odds and ends. Here's some research, etc., etc. Get back on the road. Eventually, you pull into around, you get into Montana. You get over towards Lolo, Montana. You go through kind of the closest city to the crash site, and you know that the crash site was specifically in the Clearwater National Forest. But as you kind of do some calls, as you're getting close, it is south of Williams Peak. There's no road that goes there, but there are plenty of nature trails that you can potentially find your way back in. You know that there is a ranger station that's kind of to the east as well, that you could potentially find guides. You know that Lolo and Missoula are nearby as well. Likely, you're dealing with a sheriff's department and it might be involved in terms of local law enforcement. What would you guys do as you arrive in the area? And it's probably midday, probably around noon or so, give or take.
I think Ryder would get somewhere near the park itself and pull out the drone and see if he can do like an aerial to see if there's like anything really unusual, like broken down trees or like dead creature, like animals, whatever. Maybe try to get like a trail of something if something occurred, or maybe where the plane crash itself actually is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What about the rest of you?
I would like to gather news and details of what's been going on here the days
Wanna
leading up
shoot a
to and
video?
the days since the crash.
Want to shoot a video there, punk?
Punk.
Okay. Sure.
I want to know as much as I can.
Okay. And so you're just like checking local news, listen to local radio, that kind of thing.
Sure, or even go to, like, if we got time and nobody's really doing anything important, I'll go to the library and I'll look at like newspapers from the last week,
Okay.
like, and flip through them.
Okay. So if you go back a week, it's before the plane crash. It seems like a lot of the main story has to do kind of with there's two sort of storylines. One of them has to do with upcoming elections. Apparently, like the old sheriff is is kind of leaving, and they're bringing in some young hotshot deputy. It looks to be taken over. And the other one is there's apparently a big case going on about like a murder that happened like a year ago, and there's like testimony and stuff is actually arguing. That's what's all over like last week's newspapers. But then the crash happens, and it's the crash, right? And so you see all sorts of info about parks getting closed, trails getting closed, campgrounds being evacuated, as apparently there's like a bigger and bigger radius that the CDC and various like search and rescue, how local rangers weren't allowed to go and do anything. Like they're not allowed to go to the crash site. Once the CDC landed, they got everyone the heck out of there. More recently, you learn that there's apparently another shutdown over by the Travelers Rest State Park, which is to the east, where apparently there's a death of a man by the name of Richard Clark, a nature photographer, and there's no confirmed cause of death, but the suspicion, at least the rumor that the media is going with, is bear attack. This is bear country. Black bears are pretty prolific around here. Grizzlies sometimes, and it is hunting season. So,
did it say specifically where the attack happened? Like, did it happen at the campground, or did it?
Travelers Rest State Park is the specific location.
Oh, okay, so it happened at State Park, but okay.
Yeah, Jen, it's a vampire, 100%.
Yeah, and that's the one that Dart was talking to you about earlier. That he's willing to assume that's probably it. Maybe we use that as a vector.
Bears are getting ready for hibernation right now.
Honestly, I don't know. Like, is there another area? Like, if we follow that general path, is there another area of decent population, or does it seem like there would be a stretch that this thing would probably need to go before it hit another population patch?
So, I mean, I can give you kind of a general Google. Here, you can just show my thing. I'll show you the map I'm working with. Basic map of like this is just Google Maps, so you can see like the marker is the plane crash site, and if you're looking for like this specific Travelers Rest State Park, that's over to the east off Route 12, and that's kind of what you're looking at. Then it's not quite to Lolo though.
Where is it? Can you ping it? Sorry, I just don't see.
Yeah, so there's like a little right there. Come on, why is my ping's not working?
His ping's not turned on.
Oh no.
That happened in a game I was in last week too. They're like, "Oh, I might pick so." Oh, I don't have the module on. Let's see. I'm trying to find it. Sorry.
Lolo.
No, it's all good.
I see Lolo National Forest, Lolo Hot Springs.
Yeah, it's west of the Lolo Hot Springs. 1 second. Let me grab.
West of the Hot Springs? Oh yeah. Okay.
No,
I see 12, Highway 12, way down there.
Okay, you should see a map marker now.
Okay, now I do. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. So, CDC, Roberta Kane. Where would Roberta Kane be in all of this? Where do you think she would be at this point?
She'd be definitely at the sheriff's office fighting to get access to the crash site and so forth.
Okay, you you would basically, so if you're in the sheriff's office, you realize that it's a bit of there's something going on as you're kind of like waiting around to speak with the deputy, but something's going on. Like there's something, like people are kind of panicking, like people have been busy all morning, people are coming and going, they keep telling you one second, they keep kind of blowing you off a little bit here and there. Like you have access to the site to a degree as a CDC representative, you can get there no problem. It's just a question of how much do you, like, if you want to like proceed beyond it, because they don't have any control over the area. Like CDC has said stay away, FBI said stay away, so your unit, your group has actually got control of the situation. But if you're in the police office, you're trying to talk to Deputy Gary Russell, and you can see as you're driving up and down roads throughout Lolo, you see Russell for sheriff all over the place, all these little signs here and there, and apparently that not only have they been dealing with this Richard Clark investigation, But just this morning, Deputy Russell is not here, and somebody comes and tells you that can't talk to you. He's busy. He's apparently dealing with a different issue. There's something that went down like off in Drummond at the Flint Creek campground. It's north of Georgetown Lake. There's a missing woman, so they're dealing with some kind of missing woman. So they're just like, you're just gonna have to come back later. He's very busy. Very sorry right now. We're dealing with a missing woman. She could still be alive. You're dealing with a plane crash where we already know that the pilots are dead. I'm sorry to be frank like that.
You understand that I do require some assistance getting me and my team to the site. We need some backup. There's bear sightings.
Okay, sure. Fine. Go down Route 12. Go to the Lolo Ranger Station. Ask for Joe. She can help get you to the site. And as for bears, if anyone knows about bears, it'll be Joe. All right. Okay.
Very well.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Rex, what would you have been doing? No one who's not accounted for yet.
I mean, so largely at some point we're going to need to try and track this thing. So if there's any chance of getting like a topographic map or something like that, because he's thinking off of assuming that this thing doesn't like to be out during the day. So he was trying to look for spots where if this thing is decent enough size to be bear-ish, where there's likely spots that it would try to find a cave to go into or something like that, looking for likely spots where it would have stopped periodically to kind of give us an idea of where to search while tracking.
Okay. So, I mean, a lot of that kind of stuff you can get, I think, probably just on modern smartphones and things. You get access to probably topographical data from Google Maps and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can probably get that kind of stuff. So that would probably be easy enough. But if there's something more specific you wanted, or if you're looking to kind of get gear, if you were having to go out into the wild, like because even going out to the crash site, it's not, like I said, there's no roads. Like there's hiking trails, but like you can't drive there. At least you can't drive a car there.
Yeah, that's his focus. Is he knows at some point we're going to have to get out into the woods and be tracking. So being prepared for that.
Okay. Ryder, you're at one of these pull-off sites. There's multiple pull-off sites along Route 12 where you can kind of like scenic viewpoints and things like that. And you find one that's not too crowded and you pull off. And you've also noticed that there's a lot of official vehicles coming and going here and there, but you pull off on one and you pop out the drone and you start kind of just giving a basic flyover. Go ahead and roll an alertness test. As you're just kind of trying to get a sense of what it sees. All right. Oh. Okay. The flight for the drone is fairly long before it actually gets to the site, but once it does, it's fairly clear. The section of this fairly wild area, trees have been kind of ripped and destroyed, and you can kind of very clearly tell where the plane went down. You can see that there's large pieces of the aircraft that have been kind of flung fairly far from what looks like a fairly deep burned crater. There's no active fires anymore, but you can see scorch marks, black marks here and there. Taking a look at it, it's in the middle of some fairly tall trees, and just kind of getting an idea, it likely just sort of spiraled down in the area somewhere. And you would guess that the radius of the debris probably means it didn't explode midair, and rather it actually came down. Like you have this big old crater in the middle. So that's one thing you would probably be able to notice. You do see that there are pockets of people that seem to be maintaining a perimeter of what looks like you'd probably say about a mile from the site, give or take. But there's definitely holes. Like it's a fairly big radius, and so it's kind of hard to move around. But you see what looks like, there's various ATV vehicles here and there. I would say the forest cover is probably a little too thick to be able to discern anything about like wildlife, though. But you are able to get a good sense of where the site is, and you probably have a couple ideas of where you can easily sneak past the perimeter if you needed to.
All right, cool.
Back to Mr. Brown. What else are you looking to do? You've done some research, went to the library again. Loves his libraries.
He loves his
Very
library.
wholesome.
I don't know. What other details can I dig up, and how is what I'm wondering.
So you all would know as characters that the crash site likely would have things. First of all, you know that there was a some kind of biological container case on the plane, which is one of the reasons likely that there's been this setup. Roberta Kane, that's probably your main area of interest, actually, is that there was a biological samples container, and that was probably a priority for you. You would also know that likely the plane has some kind of CVR and FDR, so like a cockpit voice recorder and a flight data recorder that
Like
could
a black
potentially,
box.
yeah, a black box basically, that might give you, if some instance there might be human remains, things like that. So investigation of the site could give you some info. So getting on site is basically something you would probably want to do, or at least a couple of you would have reason to.
And from like the drone footage, did it looked like there was a bunch of people on site, or just perimeter, keep making sure people didn't come in.
Yeah, it was more like a patrol. Like you had
Okay.
like various spots.
So the
a
site
couple different
itself
ATVs.
was pretty clear. It's just
Clear,
they're trying to make sure
yeah.
no one gets to it.
Right.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna pick up some clothes. I'm wearing a suit. I know we're gonna be heading into the forest. It's inevitable, so I'll pick up the appropriate like hiking gear,
Sure.
clothes, and things like that. And
Yeah,
just
it's fine. No, that's easy enough purchases. Yeah.
while I'm there, just kind of like asking around, like the clerk and stuff is like, "Oh, a lot of excitement around here recently. What have you heard? What do you know? I come out here once a year for just getting away and a little bit of camping, and I popped in on this. Ooh, I would have never expected a plane crash going on, and now people are being attacked by bears. While I'm here, I'll get some bear mace. Do you have that? Can I get some of that as well?"
Go ahead and roll a persuade test, and yes, they do have bear mace. It's not a problem.
Come on, roll.
Critical success. Okay. You get a very chatty older woman at your, I don't know, what was some camping, like REI? Maybe there's an REI in Lolo somewhere. You get a very chatty older woman who is very excited to talk to you about the gossip of the plane crash, and people are like, we don't even know what. I mean, we thought at first that maybe there was like a celebrity on it or something, or maybe like a politician, but I mean, we saw all these vehicles start showing up, Suburbans, tinted black windows here and there. We thought it might be like Secret Service or something. Maybe it was like a senator, but no, it turns out, like, from what we heard, some of the Rangers are getting kind of pissed because they, they're just making them be like guards and things like that. It's the FBI, it's the CDC. Apparently it was some kind of like, they had some kind of biochemicals or something on there, is what we've been hearing.
What?
And
No.
yeah, and now, like, apparently they're shutting down like the area around the mountain for hunting. Like, this is October, this is not the time. Like, this is seasonal here. You can't shut this stuff down. They're worried that maybe some, it could potentially contaminate some things, maybe the drinking water, all sorts of things.
No.
So, yeah.
Did it get in
And
the water?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's possible. We don't really know, but yeah. And apparently there's like, all sorts of rumors about what that might be. And then And then they just found another body. And so people are thinking, like, maybe, there was something on the plane that like mutated one of the bears. And so now the bears are just like angry and just grrr, and they're rolling around.
Mutated the
something.
bears? Come on now, Kathy.
Well, I mean, they landed maybe right in their territory, and now there's all these people around. So they're just pushing outwards from, and like they're angry. And so, maybe something like that.
Kathy,
Just saying what I heard.
Kathy, can you do me a favor?
Yeah. What's that?
You know this area much better than I do. I'll take a map, and can you just kind of like circle all the areas where this has been going on the map for me, where the plane crashed, where that murder, whatever it was, where that man was attacked. Well, not murder. I don't. I'm getting caught. I'm getting caught up in this, Kathy. I'm out here for my once a year relaxation in the forest, away from everything and everyone.
Good luck. Good luck now. You might want to go to the other side of the forest. Actually, head west or something. But
well, can you
no,
mark
no,
off
it wasn't a murder.
so I stay away from all of this nonsense?
Okay,
and away from these killer bears that you talk about?
Well, I mean, okay. And so she circles like the Clearwater National Forest, specifically where the plane crash is, which will correspond pretty easily with what the writer found. She circles the Travelers Rest State Park, which is along the road. Along the roads, that's much closer to a road. So she has those two things kind of circled out for you. And then as you're leaving, she's like, "Oh, and you can laugh at me about that mutated bear, but they took one of them bears." And
Who?
Some of the people from the university, they took one of the bears up there. Well,
Which
part of the
university?
bears. University of Montana up in Missoula, 20 minutes to the north of here. I thought you said you come here every year.
It's a getaway. I don't come here to work. Listen,
It's a state university. We're very
I'm from
proud
out
of
of
it.
state. Well, I'm sure it's world class, Kathy.
It's really not. Montana State's definitely the better school, but that's where I went. But
Oh, that's what I've heard. I have actually heard that. I have heard
it is
that.
better.
So they took one of these bears? They killed one?
Well, no, they found one.
Oh, they found one alive?
Well, it wasn't alive. My aunt's sister's brother's cousin, well, he works as a nature guide for one of your tourist sites and stuff, and he said that the bear was just sort of like ripped in two, and like one of the two parts wasn't there anymore, and that might be like bear on bear action or something going on.
Kathy, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You've scared me. You freaked me out, but I appreciate it. You're good people.
The other thing is some people thought it's not a plane at all, but it's the aliens.
Huh?
Well, come on, Kathy. We're not one of those people, are we?
What do you mean one of those people? We see all sorts of strange things flying around in these parts. You think we got a lot of land and not that many people. It's a perfect place to hide all your fancy government agency stuff,
I thought you said aliens. What? Government agency? What do you?
Well, yeah, they get the governments come in, right, and they collect the aliens and stuff, and then they go study them, out there in the hills somewhere.
Thanks, Kathy. I appreciate. I'm gonna do my best to try and enjoy this vacation, my once-a-year vacation. But you've been a huge help.
You got a camera? Take pictures. Send that off to the National Enquirer. Get all sorts of money.
Yeah, I bet. Other than the mace, is there anything you suggest I carry for protection?
And if it is one of them celebrities and one of them bodies are dead, you could take pictures of that too, and then send that over to the National Enquirer. They'll probably pay for that too. So it's a win-win. Oh yeah, bear mace. Here you go. She gives you a big old container of bear mace.
Yeah, Chad. Yeah, Jen. I'm surprised she isn't talking about barefoot. No, where we are.
Careful of the Sasquatches when you head up there.
Sounds
Now that
bad.
mace will do you real well against the black bears, but the grizzly bears and the Sasquatches, well, that's a 50-50 proposition if I ever saw it.
All right. Thank you.
I'm just kidding. There ain't no Sasquatches up there. Don't be silly.
Just
That's
the
just
aliens.
crazy.
That's the government.
Well, maybe.
All right. Thanks, Kathy. You've been a huge help.
Okay, so you can leave. You got a critical success. I felt like you earned some stuff. Okay. Ryder, you got your scouting done. We can say so if there's something else you want to do with after getting that scouting done.
I don't think so. I imagine we would reconvene with all the information we've gathered and probably talk about what we want to do.
Okay. Megan, what would your next steps be, do you think?
I'll drive to the forest wardens or the
Okay.
yeah, that's where I'm going.
Okay. Yeah. And so if you head into like it's I think it's like the Powell Lolo Ranger Station, kind of covers, so the plane crash is basically within their district of the Clearwater National Forest. And you ask for Joe Carpenter. Ranger Joe Carpenter comes out. She's late 40s, fairly rugged looking woman. She's got this big old bushy, messy brown hair. And you can see that there's like all sorts of like conservationist posters here and there, information about hunting season, stuff like that. This weird kind of dichotomy that seems to work for them. But she comes on out and she takes one look at you. And imagine, does Roberta Kane still have on like, CDC business attire, or is she gone like wilderness gear?
She's gone wilderness, but like a little overkill. Like, so it's so she's wearing like a bright orange sweater, hiking boots. Like there's bells attached to her, like belt loops and stuff like that. And I've got like a fanny pack on the side, complete with like a water bottle and stuff like that. So it's overkill.
So you come in, she sees you, and she's just like, well, I guess you're the one that wants to go out to the plane crash site. Is that right?
Absolutely. I need some. There's bears, and she just looks at Miss Carpenter like she should just know what she wants.
Yeah, there's bears, but I wouldn't worry too much. They've been keeping pretty clear of that portion of the woods the last few days since the crash. So I wouldn't worry too much about them. Most of them are harmless anyway. And she just kind of comes up like, okay, we're just this isn't good. She starts just pulling stuff that you have like hooked up here. Nope, that's gonna get you killed out there. Actually, nope, these things, you'll be liable to spray that in your face, then in the bear's face. And...
Stop! Don't touch me! She moves towards the back of the by the door to the building. Just deep breath. It's okay. I'll be okay. Do you have a forest warden or somebody who can escort me to the plane site?
Well, I'm your Huckleberry. Come on out. Let's go. So she holds the door open for you, and she's just like looking at you, chuckling the whole time, like city folk.
I'll go out, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and she'll get you into a vehicle, one of these Ranger vehicles, these kind of like all-terrain SUVs and things like that. And she'll take you out there. That's her job. Okay. So then the rest of you guys, say you meet up at some point, you're some arranged location.
Applebee's.
What are the three of you? And at an Applebee's. Hopefully Lolo has one of those.
So we should probably, talk about what everyone accomplished in the past few hours. Right. Mr. Brown, you look like you had a whole earful, so it sounds like you should start.
I spoke to a local woman. She provided me a map, detailed all the areas. She also said, apparently, supposedly, I don't know for sure, that the bear, or one of these bears, that may have been affected by something that was on that plane, the agent on that plane, has been taken to the university in Missoula. We need to go look at that. We need to find out if it's there.
Well, what if that's
and
like
we need to destroy it if it is there.
Oh, we're real good at doing that. Anyways, what if that's like just like the remnants, like what if the creature's still like in the woods?
I'm not saying that that's the only creature. I'm just saying that there might be one of them there. They said it was split in two. and half of it was missing. Some
That's-
sort of mutated creature. Like, this woman was not a credible source, but she knew a lot, and I think we need to look into this.
I'm gonna lay odds. Did they say how long ago that happened?
Did she say, Jeff? With the
What, the bear thing?
Mm-hmm.
when they took the bear away?
Yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
And then the murder was this morning.
Yeah. So
And do
Not
we
a
have,
murder.
Like, the
bear
locations of from
attack.
like where the bear was to where the lady went missing or died, or
I think what's left of that bear is, for reasons that we don't understand at this time, it's going to be blue goo soon. Okay, that's what happened with Rutledge. It turned him into a hot dog bun, basically, and like it took some of the meat and assimilated it, and whatever wasn't left just slurped to the ground and eventually turned to blue goo. I think that's going to be what happens to the rest of that bear, and we need to focus on where the thing's going.
If it's in the university, it could run rampant there,
Oh,
killing
no,
people.
I don't think it will. What I'm saying is I don't think that's where it is. I think
that's where
what's
the
left
dead
of the,
part is.
that's the stuff that's going to turn into blue goo. That's the stuff that's just going to gloop and be done. I think we need to follow the trajectory of the thing that took the meat and assimilated it, if
I
that makes
agree.
sense.
It's like, think about it like what we were just doing in Seattle. There was the Greaves body, which we were trying to take care of, which we couldn't. That wasn't going anywhere. And then there was the creature just running rampant, killing farmers. So we
I
probably have
think
to
we
go
need
for the
both.
creature.
How do we know that this creature wasn't affected by what happened?
I think it was. What I'm saying is, like, we've witnessed firsthand. I watched the process of it eating Rutledge. Like, I've seen how it works, and I saw the results of what was left over of what didn't get eaten. I'm not a scientist, but I can tell you what I saw with my own eyes. And I'm very concerned that if we focus on that, instead of focusing on tracking the thing that's probably still moving, we're more likely to let more people die. The more people die, the more people get eaten, and the worse it's going to get. Respectfully.
I agree.
Are either of you good at tracking?
Decent.
I got my drone.
Some might say 50-50.
Some might say 45. Why don't we just go to where the bear was last seen, see if it's close to where the lady was missing, and try and triangulate where the creature could be going from there.
What time of day
'Cause
is it,
it-
Jeff?
At this point, since all of you have done some stuff, we'll put it at like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon.
All right, I'm going to recommend that we do this tomorrow then. It's not going to be safe going out there in the dark.
No, but we can try and take a look at where these events happened and try to guess where a likely place that's trying to hole up, because this thing definitely seems to be avoiding being out in the day. So it's probably going to be moving again tonight.
Potentially.
So I think right now it's holed up somewhere. I would bet you.
Cave.
So the bear, by the way, she would have told you that the bear was basically from right next to the plane crash site, is where they took the bear from.
And then the missing lady.
Yeah, that's Travelers Rest State Park. I just put a map marker for you. It's
That's the one by
just
Lolo?
Yeah, it's just outside of Lolo.
Oh my god. I sure hope that's not the creature. It's like really far.
I mean,
It is
It's
on the
not
way to
that far,
Missoula.
actually.
We're going to go to the university.
It's not that far. That's actually fairly close. It's like Lolo to Missoula on that map is about 20-25 minutes. Lolo to the Travelers Rest State Park is probably about 5-10, something like that. Out into the crash site, that's a little different because you're off roads at this point. You're doing a lot of, so that's a little bit further, but it's not that far.
I mean, I feel like just going to the crash site's just like seeing the case the first time we saw it. I mean, I don't really know what we're going to do and find out that we don't already know.
Yeah, I think we need to start our search from the outer ring, so to speak.
So maybe we can try and go check out where this missing lady was at the state park, and I don't know, see if anyone says anything weird.
I agree.
I mean, Mr. Brown, if you want to go to Missoula, you can go by yourself to university. You can bring Mr. Stone with you.
I don't think it would be a bad idea to maybe have somebody make a call to go try and get that or put it on hold. But I think we have a time sensitive issue here. And
I mean, if this is accurate, this thing could be real close to town.
yes.
Mr. Brown,
While you're thinking about that.
So quiet.
What's the decision for the three of you? Yeah.
I think investigate this while it's still daytime, traveler's rest.
Mm-hmm.
See what they say. See if they say anything we haven't heard from Chatty Cathy. And then if by the time it started to get dark, maybe go to Missoula if it's not that, if he says like 25, 30 minutes, and see if we can try and talk to some people about what's happening or just what they saw, or if there's any kind of similarities to like the blue goo, for example. Like we know, like, oh yeah, for sure it's like the same instance.
I can go to Missoula. If these guys want to go to into the forest, I'll drive to Missoula.
We can give you Stone. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, so we'll say Stone and Brown head to the university. Kane, you're going to the crash site, and then Ryder and Dart are going to the Traveler's Rest State Park. So we'll start then with Dr. Kane. You're at the crash site. It's been an interesting ride. You've been hearing. You definitely get the sense that she loves nature. She's talking all about bears and things like that. She's telling you all about her daughter and stuff, how proud she is. You know, there's like all sorts of things. She's just like Chatty Cathying it up the whole way there. But you get the sense that she's like, you know, she's got a kind of a healthy respect for where she's at. But eventually she pulls up and she says, "Okay, well, this here's what all the hubbub's about. Sure hope you can go ahead and clean this up pretty quickly so we can open back up our mountain here and get back into bear season and things, or hunting season, I should say."
Oh, well, don't you worry one little bit. We're here. We'll clean up as efficiently as possible. You're gonna stay here, right? You're gonna wait until
Well, ma'am, I am technically not supposed to cross that line right there. But if you want to go ahead and allow me to, give me some kind of clearance, you're in charge here, not me. I'm just an escort.
She looks up and down and she thinks, all right, I'm special. You are now my new special deputy. Come on.
Special deputy? The CDC, all right. Didn't think that was going to happen this morning, but all right. Well,
stay close to me. Don't touch anything.
I was going to say mostly the same thing for you, actually. Lots of stuff out in here besides bears that could give you a rash, you know, bite you, make you sleepy, all sorts of things. Well, not really around here. I don't know. You want to tell? I mean, they've been avoiding this place like the plague the past couple of days, but I'm sure they're just scared from all the commotion.
Well, I am well versed in the monoclinids of Montana. There's like 625 varieties. And she reaches into her pocket, grabs a set of gloves and a mask to the forest ranger, and is gonna head over. So I've been here before. How many people are about?
So there's nobody within the ring. So for reasons that you are probably not entirely clear about, by they I mean some of the seniors, or the people that you actually communicated, because you were the one, actually, I should say, by the way, just to kind of clear some things up. Roberta Kane was the one who contacted Delta Green. Now, you don't know that you contacted Delta Green, but you knew that you contacted somebody, and that kind of got the ball rolling on Operation Malta. Like, you saw something at Greaves' household, and you saw like the lab and stuff like that, and that's how Delta Green got involved. And then you were kind of sent over here once Dr. Raleigh and some other groups were being brought in. So you would know then that they've been kind of keeping the search and rescue at like just outside the perimeter of this. They have not been letting people come within a perimeter of this. And and like the whole time that you were driving here, Ranger Joe was talking about how, they just apparently were just, patrol guards or something like at an elementary school here. We just keep driving around in circles, not letting anyone pass a certain point. So you would know that no one's really gone through this yet. And so like you could pull some people here and there because there's some spots here that people have set up various observation camps and stuff, but you could potentially pull people if you wanted to.
Okay, so I'm going to it's Joe Carpenter, right?
Yeah, you can just call me Joe. Everyone calls me Joe.
All right, Mrs. Carpenter. If you just follow me, and she grabs her bags from the car. So there's like a metal suitcase and a backpack and a duffel bag, and she hands the duffel bag and the suitcase off to Miss Carpenter. And
all right,
I'm gonna head out because I'm gonna assume that there has been like they've cornered off the like a safe walking place and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like staging camps here and there too, like where people are just kind of hanging out here and there. But again, just not letting them go any further in. But yeah, you can do all that, no problem.
Okay, I'm gonna go directly to the plane.
Okay. Planes in multiple pieces. There's, it's kind of scattered about here and there on, like I was saying to Evan, on like kind of the outskirts of this crater. What we can do is, what is your search at? What do you have for search?
Awful. So
100.
What is my search? Oh, it's actually not terrible. It's 40.
40 is enough, actually. It's going to take some time, but like the crash site's fairly large. It's probably going to take most of the remaining, light of the day. But as you kind of go around, you can kind of find some things. So basically, you find 3 things over the course of the next few hours that kind of stand out. And one thing you don't find that also is kind of curious. First, you find the unknown biological substance 1 case. This is the case that you yourself actually packed up and sent out, put on this plane, and this is the plane that was going to Atlanta. Like, this is something that you packed up and you remember it very clearly. And when you find it, you notice that there is a fairly it's been punched open. Like, there's this big hole in this metal heavy duty case. Like, this is a very secure case otherwise, but there's this large hole that's been punched in. And the sample, the substance that you would put in here is not in here anymore. The other thing you find is the black box flight recorder for the plane. You can probably, it's just basically what it is. It's just a fairly heavily protected recording device, and it's not going to be too difficult for you to get the info off that. And the other thing is you don't find any signs of human remains. There were two pilots on the plane, and you find no evidence of it. You kind of look through some of the remains of the planes itself. You look all around. There's nothing. Maybe a couple people help, maybe Joe helps, whatever it might be, but you find no evidence whatsoever of human remains. So those are the 3 things.
Crazy. Is there any trails in any direction from the airplane?
All right, that will take a roll. So go ahead and roll your search now.
Right.
Do it, Kane.
Oh, close.
There are many tracks. There are many tracks, unfortunately, unless somebody wants to give her a reroll. There are many tracks in and around the area. Some of it you would imagine could have been first responders who were here before they got waved off. Some of it looks like animal tracks and things. Then looks like when they were establishing the perimeter, it's hard to decipher. So yeah, there's stuff here, but you can't really piece anything from it.
So, Ms. Carver, you said there, like, has there been anything in the area? Like, has there been many animals in and about?
Oh yeah, this is black bear country, sure is. But yeah, I mean, they're not. Don't worry, they ain't gonna get anywhere near you here. But yeah, they don't really go unless there's food about. Like, I don't really suspect they're gonna be causing much of trouble here, especially with all these people, all these lights, all these noises, things like that. I doubt we're gonna have a problem. Got some friends over at the university, tag some of them, and kind of can keep track of a few of them, not all of them, but it looks like they're steering clear.
Excellent. They're following contamination protocol.
Well, sure, you can put it that way if you like. I think it's more along the lines of there is just a giant fiery explosion in their backyard, and maybe they just want to keep clear of it.
This will not do. I will need names and phone numbers of your friends or your colleagues or whatever. These samples need to be contained and cannot be touched or inhaled. We don't know anything.
I thought you meant you needed contact information for the bears. And like, the bears don't have phone numbers and such. What's wrong with you? Sure. I can go ahead and hook you up with my guy over at the university. No problem. So yeah, she'll look for a place to put stuff down, and she will get you. Let me get the. She will get you a name of a university professor who works over at the University of Montana, named named Peter Childs.
Peter Childs. Excellent. And so the container that had the sample that I packed, I'm going to take the silver box and open it.
Okay.
Put like a large evidence bag, biohazard bag, put it inside, seal it tight, sign it, make sure that if the seal's broken, that sort of thing.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Let's cut over then next to the Travelers Rest State Park with Ryder and Dart. So when the two of you get over there, you do notice that it is an active crime scene. And as you're approaching, you spot what look like an organized search grid going on, and you can see that looks like there's civilians, there's some people in uniform. You see mixtures of sheriff deputies, and you see some probably ranger folk and everything like that. And you just see regular people. They're kind of doing some kind of search grid here and there. There's a section of this parking area that seems to be that you can kind of park near, or there's this whole kind of flat gravelly area where people started to park, probably volunteers to help in the search. You do notice that there is heavy crime scene tape that seems to be around this public restroom area. And it also seems that there is another one of those, this one parking area is also kind of got tape wrapped around it, but there's no vehicle in there. It's just kind of almost looks like just a big empty parking area, enough for maybe one or two cars, has been cordoned off crime scene area. And that's what you see. And you see a handful of people that are still, around that crime scene tape, that are kind of keeping an eye on things, investigating, that kind of stuff. How you want to handle this?
Probably have one of those hunting the outdoors caps that have the big goofy flaps that come down over the ears, cover as much of my head as possible. Okay. I should probably hang a little bit more to the perimeter here, just in case my
your third disguise doesn't work.
I'm not going to tempt fate. I'll be nearby. I'm going to be looking around on the perimeter a little bit.
All right, I guess I'll go do a little talking, see what people say.
Okay. Who do you want to approach? You can approach someone in uniform. You can approach someone in civilian clothing. Do you go towards the rest area, or do you go towards the people who are like starting to form like a grid search group?
Um, I think he's definitely gonna go for civilian, and I think he'll start with the rest area, not the grid search. And see if he can just find somebody and try and chat them up and try and see what they've known or what people are like, talking about here. Get more detail about it.
Okay. So yeah, there are a few people that don't appear to be in any kind of uniform that are still lingering near what looks like the main rest area, the main parking area. And so you kind of sidle up next to one of them, start asking questions. And gossip is, I don't think you really need to do a roll for anything. People are, because they're actively talking about this. But what you learn is that apparently the insides of that bathroom, and they're not making a joke, something terrible happened in there. The stalls have been broken, toilets broken, blood everywhere. But there's no signs of anybody. There's no body in there. It looks like there was a horrible fight of some kind, but there is nobody there. You learn that there is a woman who went missing, Juliet Norris, who was here with her sister, and at some point was not feeling particularly well, and had kind of gotten up to leave in the middle of the night, or to kind of go to the bathroom, and never actually came back. And in the morning, when her sister kind of went looking, that's when they found the stuff in the actual bathroom. The other thing you learn is that they kind of arrested somebody at first, but then they kind of quickly backtrack on that because they weren't arresting it for hurting her, but just for kind of being an asshole, basically. But a guy named Rocky Wills, and you can still see him kind of sulk, over by like one of the deputies. Like they still kind of have him nearby, but apparently his truck was stolen. So he has like a big old Ford F-250 was stolen, and that apparently is what the tape around the parking spot is.
Okay. Is there any signs of blood that leaves the bathroom that like goes towards the truck or towards the forest, or because you're describing like a lot,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious if there's tracks or something, trails.
Roll a search test. And are you going to try to get under, before you roll it, actually, are you going to try to get beyond the tape and roll it, or are you just going to try to do it from a distance and see what you can see?
I think I would also relay this information to Rex just so he can also, if he wants to look or if he wants to do something. I don't want to,
Okay.
I will give him that option. I think the goal is to like not necessarily go toward directly in the bathroom, but it's looking from like where the bathroom exits to where that tape is, like that area, like which direction is there blood going, that kind of thing.
Okay. So then just roll a flat search then.
All right. Oh.
Okay. You notice that there are a handful of little evidence markers here and there outside of the bathroom and over by the car. However, or the parking spot. However, as you're looking, none of them appear to be like stains of blood. It just looks to be like debris, like broken glass here or there, splinter of wood, what looks like some kind of keychain here and there. You don't see any signs of blood whatsoever outside in any direction that you go around.
Is it like debris as in like personal belongings from?
Yeah, some of it's personal belongings. Some of it looks like it's like plaster or something from inside the public bathroom, stuff like that.
So there's like some evidence that this was probably her.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. They, as you're asking around, as you're looking, and as you're
Yeah.
like, someone probably sees you just like peering really closely at one of the evidence markers. Yeah, they found some of the things. Everyone's getting kind of worried. They thought at first that fella over there had taken her and disappeared and stuff, but then we found him kind of out in the woods somewhere, and he's all mad because his truck was stolen. I don't know what's going on. Poor gal.
Hey, you have a what the truck look like?
He just one of them big old Ford 250 things, dark, I think. Might have been black. I didn't really pay too much attention, but I remember it now that I'm thinking back, but I don't remember. It was dark. Probably black, maybe dark brown, or no, dark blue.
Dark. Yeah. Okay.
It was dark, in case you were.
Yeah,
It was,
got
it was not
dark,
it was
yeah.
definitely not a white truck.
Right. It was darker in color. Yeah.
That's true.
All right. I'm gonna go, and he just walks off to go talk to the the other
Don't
guy.
even finish the thought.
Yeah, Ricky. Is that his name? Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky Wells. Dart, do you want to do anything?
I mean, from what Ryder had shared, I think Dart's initial curiosity is he was initially like looking around the perimeter to see if there was something that would look like an animalistic, bigger thing had come this way. But now that they mentioned the truck thing, there's a part of him that is curious, like if there's any signs of like a blood trail that led to where the truck would have been. Like I've got a weird suspicion that this thing, it got like when it ate Rutledge, it got smart enough to set a trap. If this thing's eaten more people, maybe it's smart enough to drive a truck, which is weird, but yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. So you're looking for something around the truck?
Yeah, I'm curious. That's his gut hunch, and so he's following that.
Okay. Ryder did the search. If you're looking for tracks or something like that, roll survival.
Okay, I'll give that a go.
Survival.
Nope. It's a very classy failure.
Very classy. So yeah, it's hard to, it's kind of a gravelly area, so it's definitely been disturbed quite a bit. And like the surrounding greenery doesn't look too disturbed. It's kind of flat air, flat ground, and then it kind of off into trees. And shortly thereafter, it looks like kind of a flat open clearing. Yeah, you don't really notice anything too clear. You do find like there's definitely, stuff on the ground, broken bottles, broken glass, but you don't notice any like any animal tracks that you can discern.
And so the general time frame that was shared was also that like the sister wasn't feeling well and went to the restrooms like at nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, it was probably hanging out there. No, at nighttime though. I don't know. Weird.
Okay.
We're gonna die.
Yeah, the last thing,
Yep.
probably. The last thing I wanted to do was talk to Ricky and see if I can talk to him about his truck and see what his license plate number, so I can try and. I want to then go into CCTV to see if I can see the truck moving somewhere, like on highways, on, passing by, going to a gas something. So maybe we can try if what we're talking about, if this creature's actually fucking possible driving or something ridiculous.
Like,
I mean,
like,
I know
if
we're in a weird area. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Yeah.
Just some evidence of where the truck could have gone, and maybe we can get some more information that way.
Okay.
Like, what if it's a
because right now that's our only
organism?
lead is the truck is missing because we have no blood, we have no trail.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah, you want to talk to this guy who's kind of he's like, he sees you coming. He's got an attitude. He doesn't really recognize you, and start asking him questions. You start kind of poking around. What's your like your persuasion at? Like, what's like your number?
40.
40. Okay, that's good enough. I feel like you could probably,
That's
without
good
a
enough.
roll, you could probably get that out of him.
Hey, you're the one with the dark truck.
What? It's
The
great.
darker. Man, those guys are telling me it was so dark.
I mean, when it's dark out, it looks darker. When it's light out, it looks lighter.
Were you
Like a charcoal, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, the color really doesn't matter. I don't know why, but everyone seems so fixated on the truck color. How'd you miss your truck? Where were you?
Yeah, I was out there camping in the stars. talking about? Got a little spot over there, park over here. Kind of me and the missus, kind of out in the fresh air of nature.
And then he came back and there's no truck.
Yeah, came back, no truck.
That's crazy.
I'm very upset about it. And then they thought I hurt someone. And they're like, oh, well, then they got all mad at me because I got mad at them.
Yeah, I understand. You know, it's probably the aliens.
You really think so?
Yeah, have you heard about those conspiracy theories on, like the History Channel and stuff?
Yeah, that they were here first, like the ancient aliens,
yes.
right?
Yes.
They seeded all life on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's good a theory as any I heard.
They say it started a place called the Mound.
Now, I didn't hear that. That sounds made up. Might be a mine or
Maybe
something.
it was. I don't know. I mean, I'm just fucking with you. I don't think there's aliens.
Oh. So if you ask him for his license plate, he'll give you a license plate. 761455B.
Okay, so then he will, if Dart's done looking around, he will kind of go back to their car and he will try and put that in and try and see if he can find any hits with it in nearby CCTV or anything.
Okay. We're going to kick it over, though, to University of Montana, where Mr. Brown, you have found visitors parking.
Yeah.
Not an easy feat on a major university, but you found visitors parking. It's probably late afternoon. What do you want to do here?
I just want to kind of, like, would I have an idea of where this thing would have been taken? Like, just a general knowledge. I know I don't normally hang out in universities and things like that, but, like, would I have an idea of where they would take this body or this bear?
You would know that, I would say, if you get in your phone, you start digging into what programs and departments there are at the University of Montana, you would know that there's a couple different places, but most of them are kind of in the same area. It looks to be like some kind of graduate, like, Black Bear nature reserve tagging company, or not tagging company, tagging project that some graduate students are doing. Might have something to do with that. There's laboratories on campus here and there. Over by the kind of biological sciences lab department area, so you can potentially, that could be it.
I'm gonna start heading over to that area and just kind of start like observing, poking around, listening. What kind of people do I see there? Students, or university staff? Like, what's going on in these areas? I just kind of head over there and observe with good old Stone.
Okay. He's decked out in his military gear. He's got his phosphorus grenades ready to go.
No.
No. Okay. All right. So if you head over there, you notice that you don't see anything you don't see any law enforcement types around. You see mostly students and things coming and going, professors and such here and there. But you don't notice anything that you would equate to law enforcement. Maybe at some point, if you're staying there for a while, maybe you see like a park ranger vehicle, but that's it. You don't see any cops or anything like that show up.
Okay. I'm gonna stop a student or kind of like walk up to a group of students or something like that and kind of approach him. So, hey, I heard that bear that was involved in that attack or something. They found some sort of strange bear and they brought it here. Do you know what that would be?
Okay, so you pull the Steve Buscemi, hello, fellow young people.
Yeah.
Okay. Brown, what's your persuasion at?
It's 71.
Okay, yeah, no, actually, you probably talk a decent game. They just kind of look at you, kind of not too concerned with you. Like, whenever they bring any of them in, like they over there, lab B, other side of the building. I just
Lab
point
B,
over.
eh? Lab B, eh? Hey, listen. I didn't introduce myself or anything. I apologize. I'm here. I'm trying to get a scoop on this story. I think there's more going on here than meets the eye. I'm with the Inquirer, and I think there's a lot more
National
going on here.
Enquirer?
Yeah.
Okay. It's fake news, though, I think. Isn't it?
What? Fake news? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think so.
You obviously don't know Kathy and Lolo.
Kathy, and there's probably several Kathys in Lolo.
Well, she is a devout follower of ours, and she called us down here to let us know about what was going on. So this Lab B, where they take things like that. So, any idea or way I could maybe get in there, maybe get a picture of this thing, or better yet, what if you could get me a picture? There's money in it for you.
Well, I was about to call you crazy. You can just walk in the front door. It's like a veterinary office or something like that. It's not like a prison or whatever, but if you're paying, I'll go do it. Sure.
Yeah, sure. And he takes out a wallet and he'll hand him $50.
$50. Okay. So I got to go in there and take pictures of a bear.
Take pictures of the bear they brought in for me.
Okay. There's a lot of, like, they usually bring in a couple at a time. It's not really my department.
This bear will be distinct. Trust me, you'll know when you see it. Take pictures of all the bears. Here, there's another 50 in it for you.
Okay, I'll see if I can get in. Professor Childs is a pretty nice guy, so he might let me in. Not really. Again, not really. Oh, $50? If I'm going to take pictures of all the bears, shouldn't it be like 100?
I gave you 100. I gave you another 50.
Oh, that's right. Math, not my subject.
Yes, apparently. I'll tell you what. I'll walk with you over to Lab B. Let's go over there together. And then, you go take pictures of all the bears in there for me.
Okay. So you head over to Lab B. Megan, what were you going to do, by the way, after?
Well, I was gonna call Professor Childs.
Okay. Okay. All right. So at some point you probably called Professor Childs in the intervening hours. What would you have asked Professor? A very nice man. But what would you have asked Professor Childs?
I would have asked him to ensure that any odd-looking bears or any bears taken from like a 5-mile radius around the crash site to be considered a biohazard, and to ensure
biohazard.
Well, it's purely just to make sure that everybody's safe.
The bear's certainly not safe. The bear torn in half.
Well, of course.
Got a biohazard tear something in half.
Miles, I am Roberta Kane from the CDC. I require you to ensure that the safety not only of yourself and your staff and students, but anything else doesn't get in or out until I get there.
How did you get my number again?
I hand the phone over to
you. Okay, you hand it over. He's like, hey, Pete, it's Joe. She ain't bullshitting you. I mean, she really is part of CDC. We just were kind of reconnoitering around the crash site. We found some weird biochemical case thing or something. I don't know what the hell it's got to do with a bear getting torn in half by another bear, but hey, yeah, okay. You want her? Here you go. And she hands the phone back to you, and she says, and so he just says, okay, Dr. Kane, yeah, we can go ahead. We've already done some tests, kind of trying to get a sense for, what killed her and that kind of thing. Whether it was one of ours to begin with. Couldn't really find the tag. We didn't see any. Got some strange substances in it, but I don't know. You might want to take a look at this.
I absolutely, I would love to, and it's very imperative that you ensure that nobody touches those specimens until I get there.
Yeah, so that's kind of, I mean, we'll definitely not touch them now, but we did collect them. Don't worry, we followed proper protocol and everything. No one got exposed, nothing. That's just crazy. But no, we took some samples. Of course we do. We're teaching college, crying out loud.
We're on our way immediately. Hangs up.
Nope. Oh, okay. All right. So then, through the magic of timing, as you go inside Lab B, Mr. Brown, you start traveling through the halls, and you head over to what looks like some kind of veterinary area. You got a lot of like these large like windows that kind of look into appear to be like laboratory setups and stuff. You can see there's animals that are mostly dogs and cats and stuff here and there, but you also see that there are like some sedated like wild creatures here and there, a couple people coming and going, a lot of grad students and things. But you do notice that there is a section of this kind of laboratory area that seems to just not be open to the public. There's a lot of like these curtains that have been drawn so as not to be visible here and there. And you see over like kind of outside of that, you see what looks like a ranger station representative, kind of a woman near her 50s or so, big brown hair, kind of crazy, messy. You see a man that is kind of dressed in a kind of button down. He got a lab coat on. You would imagine probably works here. And then what does Roberta Kane look like?
She's shortish, has brown hair. You have a picture of her, actually.
I know what she looks like. I just want to make sure you didn't change anything. Yeah, okay. All right, yeah, she's a little shorter. And she's all geared up in what looks like REI gear as you approach. Now, Mr. Brown, you were debriefed on this, so you actually recognize that woman. She is Roberta Kane of the CDC, Delta Green Friendly, who actually alerted the group to this case. She, you would also know, is not an active agent, but is a friendly.
So what is a friendly? So is she aware, though, of Delta Green?
She is aware that there are like specialty groups, not necessarily deep, sneaky, like X-Files-y type stuff, but just like specialty organizations that kind of take care of things, government, black ops projects and things like that. And that she, at some point, probably in her past, was probably in a case that dealt with something unnatural, handled it well, and kind of made a contact. And so that whenever a certain conditions in a case kind of come across her desk, if they're met, she's got a number to call. And she alerts those people, and then stuff happens. Yeah, it's a lapel pin in bright colors. But yeah, you would have gotten her name, you would have gotten her info when you were brought onto the case to start cleaning stuff up.
All right. Well, I see her there, but I'm hanging back. Does the kid go in? Does the kid go in and start taking the pictures?
Well, the kid walks up, and the minute he does, the professor is just like, "Get the fuck out of here! What are you doing?"
Does he leave? Or does he try to...
Well, he comes back, and he gives you the camera, like, well, they said no. Anyway, have a good one.
Hey, wait. I thought you said you can get in there.
I mean, I could get in the building. I say I can go in. They don't. They usually don't make a big deal out of it here.
What's your name? I didn't get your
Me?
name. Yeah.
My name, Billy.
Listen, Billy. Work on it, but I think there might be a future for you in this industry. Why don't I take your details? Let me get your name. Let me get your number.
In journalism?
And I'll get
Fake
in contact
news?
with you. Yeah. The Acquirer is sold everywhere, and it sells very well, and they pay very well. I'll tell you what. You can keep that $100 I gave you.
Well, yeah, I was going to.
How can I reach you, Billy? I want to talk to my editor about you.
You want to talk to your editor about me?
Yeah, hiring you. You've got what it takes.
Hiring me.
Yeah.
I got what it takes? Really?
I think so. You remind me of a young me.
Well, thank you, I think. And then they give you their cell phone number.
Thanks, Billy.
Okay, well, thanks for the $100, mister.
Billy, it's just the beginning. Trust me. Kids. Oh, sorry.
I do like
Sure,
kids. They're very nice. Yeah. I'm an early elementary education major. That's great.
I like kids. All right.
Okay.
All right. I will then go into the office where everybody is.
All right. You step into the office. Kane, you have been talking for the last couple of minutes with Professor Childs, Dr. Childs, who has just been kind of going through some of the sample, like this. Well, we found here is from what we can tell, it's a black bear, middle-aged, female. Not exactly sure cause of death, but she appears to have been torn in half. Lower extremities are intact. Some sort of strange substance apparently in some of her bowel area, and haven't tested it yet. But we do have facilities on premises that can go ahead and do that if it's okay with you, Dr. Kane.
I'm not a doctor. I'm just a scientist.
Oh. You don't have a PhD in something?
All right. So, I'm gonna need everything that you have. It's clearly not safe here. Clearly, you don't understand the idea of security and
Okay, Miss Kane. Sure. You get no reason. Public university. We'll give you everything we found. Yeah, that's not a problem. What exactly was on that plane? Should we be getting tested for something?
And she goes and she looks at her phone and it's like she's like, should I call?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That wouldn't hurt. Not that you have to like be worried or anything, but everybody who I've said too much. Just make sure that you
Mr. Brown, you hear half of this as you come in. You also look over and you can just see that the ranger is just kind of leaning against the wall, big old grin, pulls out a cigarette and just smokes right in the middle of the office. Doesn't really care. He's just chuckling the whole time at everything that's happening right now. As you walk in and you hear it, she's and Child's like, okay, so I'll get my 2 grad student assistants, my lab assistants. We'll get tested for something. We'll just do full labs. We'll just do full lab work, I guess. Okay. Yeah, exchanges a look with Joe, like, what the fuck did you bring here?
You said that there was lab facilities I could use. This would be acceptable. But I only want to take Miss Carpenter with me.
And she's got the cigarette kind of leaning like, why am I going? I ain't got no degree. Okay, no, it's fine. I'll go. It's okay. I got nothing to do. My husband's son of a bitch. I got better things to do.
So I'll ask for all of the samples, and I want to go see this bear because obviously we haven't.
Okay, we got them right down here. So they take you back.
Whoa! Before she leaves, I want to interject. Say, Dr. Kane. Dr. Kane, can I have a word with you for a moment?
I'm not a doctor. I'm just a scientist.
Roberta Kane, can I speak with you?
Yes.
And I'm gonna take her into the hallway, or ask her to go into the hallway with me to talk to her. I'm not gonna do it here in front of everybody.
Did you try and touch me?
No.
Oh, good.
No touching.
No touching.
Can we just have a word in the hallway, please?
What is this in regards? Regards to?
This investigation.
Oh, very well.
All right, we get in the hallway. I'm gonna say, Kane, I'm from the organization that answered the call that you made regarding all of this. We're here and we're actively looking into what's happening, and I think you would be an asset to the investigation if you joined up with us. There's 2 others down in, is it Lolo? Lolo.
It is Lolo, yeah.
But I also need to get access to that bear. Have you seen it yet?
First off, I am grateful that you are here. These backwater, incessant. They don't even know how to properly quarantine. But yes, you can come with me.
Okay, I didn't ask, but thank you. I would appreciate it. Do we need to suit up or anything? Is there any sort of contamination risk?
Like this look of elation comes across her face. Absolutely. And she reaches into her purse and hands you like a face shield and a mask and some gloves and some booties and all that.
All right. I guess I'll put it on.
Okay. Do you give some to Ranger Joe?
Absolutely.
Ranger Joe goes to put the mask on, still got the cigarette in her mouth.
I'm gonna look at Ranger Joe and kind of like aside to Kane is like, why is she coming with us? What?
There's bears.
They're dead.
Do you not hear them?
Are there bears growling?
There's animals making sounds, but you don't see any live bears, no.
Absolutely no.
I don't think it'd be wise if she.
So I'm gonna go to Carpenter and I'm gonna be like, so I think that you're going to need to just stay right here, but don't worry, I'll be fine. I want you to know that I appreciate everything that you've done for me today, and that if you could just wait just a little bit longer, I won't be long. And then she's gonna start, because I'm assuming that Childs is gonna take them to the bears.
Yeah. So yeah, she'll wait. Just fine. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. So she hangs back, gives you takes the helmet back off, hands it over. Still smoking a cigarette. She kind of sits down in the office. Just let me know if you need anything. And yeah, then Childs will take you, the two of you back. You'll gear up. He'll gear up. You kind of get in full stuff. He's like, okay, this is a little excessive, but if you say so. So the three of you start moving back to the back of this lab where they have kind of cordoned off this area where this bear is. We'll get back over to the rest area where Dart and Ryder have been. You guys thought of anything else you would like to do? As it's getting dark now.
Besides CCTV, I don't know if we.
Okay.
So is there anything else you wanted to do, Dart? Or if you want me to go join this grid search?
I honestly, like, Dart has been looking up, like, okay, if somebody was, where would somebody have like parked if they were? He's still under the mindset this thing doesn't like being out during the day, so he's trying to look up if this thing if it can drive. Because I'm just going to go full on into the crazy boat. Why not? Let's assume this thing can drive. Because why not? Of course it can. And if it did drive, would it keep going to the same general direction? And if it did, where would it park to stay out of the sunlight for the day? That's where his mind's going. So he's like looking through his phone for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the problem is that as you look at the map, there are tons of towns along multiple highways. There's the I-12, there's I-90, there's Interstate 90, 93, 200. Like all these are like they're not like, this is definitely more wide open. It's Montana, so it's like it's far more depopulated. Like there's large stretches of land without major populations, but you are in a fairly populated area. It's Missoula, university town. So there's a lot of little smaller towns nearby here and there. Plus there are a lot of like traveler rest areas, campgrounds, things like that. The sheer number that you are probably looking at is almost overwhelming unless you knew specifically how far they were traveling, which direction they were traveling, that kind of thing. It's you probably don't have enough data to really kind of determine it.
If this thing is driving, we're just screwed. Let's join the search grid.
You want to be that close to people, or you want to like hang back and
God, I want to help somehow.
not put those frosted tips to work?
I know. Man, I'm so screwed ever since that stupid hospital.
Yeah, you really chose poorly on who you decided to go with.
Okay, that's fair. I don't know that anybody was capable of being a handler for that situation. It sure as hell wasn't me, but that's fair. That's
Well, if you
fair.
don't want to go out there, I can press play on this program, and you can just watch the CCTV. It'll kind of like blip at you whenever it catches something, so you can just kind
I'll do that. That's fair.
of mindlessly,
I shouldn't risk the operation by getting my face out there. They've got rangers, they've got officers. There's a chance somebody could recognize me. That's fair.
All right. And he'll set him up with a laptop and press play and just let that run and see if anything hits for the truck. And then he's going to go he's going to go to the search, but kind of the same thing. It's more of like a listening for gossip, more so with the, like the officers that are there, not so much the civilians, but just to see if they say anything that I haven't heard so far.
Okay. Make just a general, like, alertness doesn't really make sense here because it's not so much danger. You're just kind of like eavesdropping.
Like a swim check, probably.
Swim check. Why don't you make like int times 5? So just do an int roll, intelligence roll.
Times
because you're just listening. It's not so much engaging; it's more just listening. Okay. And then you're just looking at like footage here and there. Like you set him up to look through footage. Okay. Go ahead and roll a luck test, Jeremy.
All right, 50-50.
Oh,
I can't do anything.
Okay.
Damn it.
You get just... it's okay. It's all right. You get one hit on a black, or like a near black, like a dark gray for
charcoal
F-250. I don't know why this became so complicated. Somewhere in Missoula, looks like it was a gas station. It wasn't pulled into the gas station, but it was driving past the gas station. You do not get a picture of who's driving, but you do get partial plates as you kind of zoom in and see it, and that's the only thing you got. It's unclear in which direction it might have been traveling.
Does it have a time on it?
Yeah, so that would have been somewhere in the neighborhood of about 4 a.m.
Okay.
With your int roll, you overhear discussion between a couple of these sheriff's deputies who are apparently talking not just about this, but they're a little worried because they're like, you think we got like some kind of spree killer going on? You know, that kind of they're getting a little nervous because this isn't the only thing. Like apparently in addition to this, like you've heard that there was apparently some kind of break-in at this over in Basin, and apparently there's a missing couple, an elderly couple named Bob and Linda Maloney. That's not really important, but like they're missing, and their black Range Rover is also missing.
Ah, for the love of God. Is this before or after this bathroom incident?
They probably don't have that information, actually.
Okay.
But you would know that Basin is actually to the east, though. That's one thing you would be able to learn.
Like east of Missoula?
Yeah, like kind of over. I forgot, I don't have pings up. Sorry, but yeah, it would be east of here. And you would know that they would also probably mention specifically it was at a radon mine, some kind of like spa radon mine treatment site. So apparently there's this thing where there's these treatment sites for kind of radon mines, like old radon mines there. And so there's one that apparently there's a missing couple and their car was stolen. And so now they're worried that this is kind of like a spree thing. Like there's somebody doing things. It's two missing people, 2 missing cars. All in somewhat the same area.
How many did we know in our debriefing? How many samples were in the case that went to the airplane? That was on the airplane.
1.
There was 1. Okay. Well, I will go back to Dart after an hour or two and relay the message. And Ryder's look of confusion kind of increases. I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like this is either a complete waste of time or there's a alien creature driving around damn cars. Or 2 of them.
I mean, maybe it like after it gets enough meat, it splits and becomes a new one. And oh God. Maybe.
I mean, let's just go up to Missoula, I guess, right? I mean, that's where that truck was seen.
Okay.
I don't know. You can meet up with Brown. I'm sure he's gonna have some great intel.
Oh my God. Okay. So the one thing I will try and guess is if that thing was there at about 4, what time does sunup usually happen around here? I'm sure that's something I'll probably look up.
October, sunrise, Montana. Let me do a quick little
the
Google
precise...
search.
I mean, I wasn't meaning to try and get you to have that, but basically Rex would try and look that up because he's under the assumption that these things are probably going to be finding a place to hide. So if it was at that gas station at 4, we can probably make a reasonable guess of a radius from that gas station where they probably hold up.
You would, I guess you would, 4 a.m. would certainly be before it. Looks like around 7 a.m.
Okay, so they still would have 3 hours driving time, so that doesn't...
And the town where the other 2 people were missing.
8 a.m. Sunrise is around 8 a.m. in October, it says, and then, nautical twilight starts at 7 a.m.
So I got nothing for you.
No. Listen, you know what? You might be on something. All right, think about it this way. What if aliens can drive? All right, that's crazy, right? But what if the truck didn't have a lot of gas in it? So the creature, it stops somewhere in Missoula. Creature gets out, finds that couple in Branson or whatever the hell he said, and then takes that car.
But that makes sense because like it's got the rudimentary function of it, but it's not
right.
really...
But it doesn't understand if the fuel runs out, I need to fill it up.
Maybe it's like a weird muscle memory thing. Like it gets the general motion to do, but it doesn't know to get out. Man, yes. Oh my God, we're totally crazy.
We're cracking the case.
Yes, we're cracking the case. We're not cracking.
Hey, so I gotta think during the shit, you know?
Okay. No. Okay.
So let's
that's
maybe
a good point.
let's try and go to Branson or what. I can't remember what he said.
I'll never go to Branson again.
Okay.
Kill a man in Branson.
Let's try and go to Basin and see if we can find tracks from those disappearing people and try and work our way from there.
Sounds good.
Okay. Meanwhile, over in the University of Montana and the properly titled Lab B, Mr. Brown, Dr. Kane, not Dr. Kane, you are brought into a lab room where a fairly large black bear has been set up on an examination table. And you can see that there's a cloth, like this large cloth. You can see it's been stained with blood here and there. It's kind of off to the side. You can see what looks like 2 legs, hindquarters. Looks like somewhere around the belly area it was ripped apart. And you notice, like, as you come in, like, Dr. Childs will just be like, well, there she is.
Excellent. And she goes right over and like starts pulling back the cloth and taking a look at what's there.
Okay. Both of you can roll sand, by the way. This is a fairly vicious looking wound that you see here.
Destroy their mental. Wow, Mr. Brown, your sand
Intestines
is
just sort of.
Oh,
low. Roberta's cray.
Oh no.
Oh,
Are we gonna have a bout of
again.
madness here?
Yes.
No, it's only 4.
Oh.
Maximum. It's critical failure would be maximum, so it's just be 4. As you take 4 points of sanity damage, you don't have any disorders, so you don't trigger any. But yeah, this is not a pretty sight because not only is the body like kind of ripped apart, and you can see some of the intestines have suffered some severe trauma, but there's like a kind of a peculiar bluish substance that seems to be coating various portions. And as you peel the curtain back, it just almost like it's alive, just kind of piles out onto the metal plate and then becomes inert. But that little bit right there, Roberta, kind of is enough to kind of give you a start.
All right. Where were we? You're going to go in and start grabbing some stuff.
Okay. Brown, were you doing anything here, or are you just gonna let her do her examination?
I'm just letting her do an examination. I'm not doing anything.
Okay.
This is not my area of expertise.
Okay. So
Does it look like is it a clean break? Is it like jagged?
No. It looks
like a
it's
hot
been-
dog bun.
It looks like it has been like just viciously ripped from itself. It's not a clean cut. And 1 second. What do you have? Do you have like biology or chemistry or anything like that?
Yeah, what do you want?
Good answer. Yeah, what do you want, Jeff?
Biology. What's your biology at?
50.
Okay, 50. Yeah, it's good. So I can give you some stuff just for freezies. So this is all going to take over the course of time. Then we'll cut for the night. So over the course of a couple hours, as you're kind of doing something of a dissection, running some tests here and there, you notice that there's a very significant difference between the sections of the bear where you had kind of the blue coated material and the sections that don't. And when you start testing some of those that blue material, you notice that the cells are different than those that are kind of the standard kind of reddish material, the tissue samples that you would get from the other parts of the bear. One of the things that kind of is really curious is that the cells that you've discovered, they seem to be based on carbon dioxide. The cells of this kind of bluish material is extremely resilient. And they seem to have like a second, almost plant-like cell wall that's surrounding what appears to be a cellular membrane on the inside. You would also notice, and it makes sense because you're within kind of a veterinary hospital, and there's a variety of these different lamps here and there, but you also notice that the cells seem to react in certain ways when certain lights are shined on it. When you shine some ultraviolet B, which is found in sunlight, but it also is commonly found in like reptile pet lights, because they kind of need that to absorb certain nutrients. You can see that it causes the cells to vibrate, heat up, and burst. And you also notice that once the internal cell material breaches the cell wall and the ultraviolet B actually hits it, so it's exposed to it, that material suddenly hardens to a fairly thick blue crystalline material. And that's what you get.
Excellent.
You also notice that there are no signs of teeth marks or anything like that. This seemed to have just been kind of like just horribly ripped apart, like a wet piece of paper just torn in half. And the bear is a very, very big bear. And that's what Dr. Charles will explain to you, is that she's a very mature female black bear, significant in size, one of the larger black bears that they have found in the area. And she was very easily taken care of. And I think that's where we're going to end tonight, on discovering some of that. And because we're past time by a few minutes, so we'll stop there.
Woo.
Okay. Got not Dr. Kane into the group. We're back. You guys didn't kill anybody. Agent Stone and Aaron are going to be so proud.
Hey,
just fine.
We were reasonably responsible.
You were totally responsible. Yep. All right, let's do a little closing roundtable here, see what everyone's doing for the rest of the week. Matt, what are you doing between now and next Thursday?
Sunday night, Free League Channel, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're wrapping up our Alien campaign. Monday, over on the Lollygaggers, also at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're back to Alien. Tuesday, we're over on Sirenscape, same time, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, doing Call of Cthulhu, The Mound. And then Thursday, back here.
Okay. Megan, you got anything coming down the pike?
No. I'm pretty boring again this week. I've got nothing exciting. I wait all week for this night.
Then they put a bullet in the back of your character's head, so that's always fair.
No, can happen. Can happen to anyone.
Yeah. I mean, a good first impression so far with Kane. Do you think, Mr. Brown? Do you have a good first impression of her?
Undetermined at this point.
Undetermined. Okay. All right, fair enough. Let's see who's next. Evan, what do you got going on?
Yeah, Alien on Sundays, 9 p.m. Central. We will be maybe dying, TBD. And then Tuesday, I'll be, I guess, introducing a new character on the mound. And yeah, Thursday, hopefully me and Dart don't find ourselves in a bad situation.
We're going to learn just enough to get ourselves killed.
I think that might happen too.
Yep.
Yeah. This is exciting. And Jeremy, what are you playing in for the next week?
I'll be, joining you guys for some good alien nonsense next week. And then on Saturday at 9 Central, we'll be on Goodman Games, hopefully finishing off Crypt of the Devil Edge.
Right on. As for me, tomorrow on twitch.tv/lollygaggers, playing more Delta Green as we're continuing our Impossible Landscapes campaign. We are nearing the end of part 3. Saturday, we are starting up One Ring, 2nd edition, giving that a try. And hopefully people won't yell at us for getting all the lore wrong and pronouncing everything incorrectly. And then, as Matt already said, Monday for Alien. And that's about it. So until next Thursday, enjoy the week, enjoy these games, and we'll catch you next time.
Have a good one.